So I built a wealth analyzer desktop app since no bank or other wealth management service provider sells one. There's no app, there are no APIs, there's nothing. Instead of holding my breath, waiting for a miracle to happen, I built it myself with Claude Code. Basically in a weekend. It's totally local, so all of the data stays on my machine. I will show you the whole thing, how I built it with an AI team and why I think you can't really run a one-person business without knowing these numbers. Oh, and the best part of the app is honestly the most boring sounding one, the data import. That's at the end.
So my biggest pain as an amateur investor is that I follow too many strategies at once. I have accounts with several providers, each focused on a different strategy. So my money is just scattered across places that don't talk to each other. And then the predictable thing happens. I drift. I know I should be rebalancing at the portfolio level, but there was never one place that showed me the whole picture. And honestly, nobody sells the fix. In Finland, where I'm from, none of the providers offer a net worth tool for individual investors. And there are no APIs to pull your own data out either. So instead of waiting for a bank to build it, I build it myself. So let's have a look at the actual demo. So obviously I'm not going to show you my own personal data, but I have this demo mode built also into this. So let's view the demo mode. But basically the whole app has been divided to 6 different views. So the first 3 tabs show me where I should be heading, and the last 3 show me what to do about it. And yes, this is just demo data, not my actual data. But the first view shows this tracker view. So basically it calculates the year that I would be financially free with the annual expense rate. That is something that I have configured in the settings. But it shows the estimated year that I will be financially free, what's the target capital, then what's the current capital, the liquid one, and how many years do I have to go there. It gives me also 3 different scenarios, so these base, optimistic and pessimistic ones. And here are the different real return rates, and then the safe withdrawal rate also. The year, estimated year, and reach by 2030, that's kind of the target set here in the demo mode, and what's the answer for that one. So in these cases I would not reach the target based on the investment rate that I'm doing at the moment. I also have these calculators here, so what would it take so I can test that, okay, if I would want to be financially free already 2028, it shows the different scenarios with the numbers of course change, and it shows that, okay, I should be able to invest almost 40k per month in order to reach the financial freedom at 2028. The next one is then the net worth. So basically it tells me the total net worth, the liquid net, the illiquid net, and the loans. All of the numbers are broken down here. And since I'm a solopreneur, so I have both my personal side plus the company side, and that's the reason why the demo has also those modes, and I can change those on the upper right corner of the app. So I can view that, does it show only my personal side or the company or all of the owners. But basically it lists all of my portfolios, the different types of portfolios, different kind of assets, and the loans of course. Then the trend, this is the net worth trend. So it basically shows these are all of the data imports that I have made, and it will show the trend that how has the illiquid and the liquid and the total net worth have been trending based on the dates. And then I'm able to see the allocation. So I can change the base. So is it total wealth or liquid, or then the owners? Which am I looking at? It gives me an overview of the different allocation classes, and then gives me also actions what to do. Am I drifting from the target, or am I on target, or what is the situation? So basically it's the allocation versus the target, and then the status is what to do about it. So this gives me knowledge about the rebalancing. What is the status of my accounts? Should I rebalance to keep with my portfolio level strategy? And the signals is just a kind of a list of all of those rebalancing suggestions from the previous view, just summarized in this own view. Okay, and then the data and import. So as I mentioned at the beginning, There are no APIs to access as an individual investor in Finland, so none of the service providers offer any kind of API connections. But it doesn't really matter because I have solved this so that I just copy the rows from my portfolio page regarding the different service providers and import it in here, and it knows how to parse the data so that it just removes all of the unnecessary information and all of the kind of the empty spaces, etc., and just takes the actual portfolio information and puts it in my Wealth Analyzer desktop app. But it's really easy. It only takes me a minute or two to go through all of my service providers, copy and paste the data, the rows to my Wealth Analyzer, and then it just shows my allocation and my net worth, etc. Alright, so how was this actually built? Let me just ask the guy who built it with me. This is a live session. I'm not scripting Claude's answers, just asking Claude how did we do it. So I'm gonna use my dictate tool that I have done earlier, so I don't have to write anything. Hey Claude, in one paragraph, what did we build here and what's the architecture for Wealth Analyzer desktop app? Okay, Claude will check his memory first to give the accurate answer. So Wealth Analyzer is my personal wealth, or this kind of a financial freedom tracker, and it ingests monthly broker pastes from Nordnet and OP. Those are the service providers that I use. And it basically replaces account holdings on import with an auto snapshot for the trend history and layers on classification, portfolio level strategy, rebalancing suggestions, and fire projections toward your target. Architecturally, it's a local only, privacy first app. It's pure TypeScript core engine, build a Tauri shell whose file adapter writes a single data JSON to macOS application support using atomic temp rename rights with 30-day backup rotation, file system access, scope to app data only. But yeah, as you can see, that's what it answered. Let's ask another question. Hey Claude, what was the hardest part of the import parser and how did we solve it? Okay, it doesn't remember the iterations that we had, but let's see. What does the project history say? Okay, the hardest part wasn't passing numbers, it was that neither broker gives you a table. So when you copy holdings from Nordnet or OP's web view, the clipboard isn't tab separated columns, it's a flat stream of lines with no delimiters, where an instrument name is just a line that isn't a value. Yep, it's kind of a custom made for my service providers at the moment. Yep, on top of that sits the multi-portfolio split, detecting each portfolio's 4-line signature in a bulk all portfolios paste, which is what made the monthly routine a single copy paste instead of 8. But yeah, this is the thing that we had to iterate a few times, and I had to check that the data import is actually correct. But now it's really, really simple to do. But let's ask one final question from Claude. What did I reject or change during the build? Reject. So verifications you did by hand. So I did the net worth hand reconciliation. Then we did some smoke tests, data corrections, and then product decisions you changed mid-build. But yeah, there's always some iterations, whatever you are doing, and that's kind of the normal process. And that's also the thing that we did with Claude. Okay, one more thing, and it's the awkward one, money. Talking about money is still such a taboo, at least in my circles. Like you say it out loud and somebody instantly decides you are changing it. I got a comment about this once and my answer ended up getting quite many likes. I don't want to be rich for the sake of it, but for the freedom of choice it gives. Therefore, instead of being a high consumer, I'm nowadays a high investor, saving for my future self and growing assets rather than buying all kinds of stuff I don't really need. And then there's this solopreneur thing nobody really talks about. I am the company's most important asset, like literally. I've got insurance for sure, but if I break my arm or catch, I don't know, Ebola or something else, some kind of a disease, revenue stops that same week. So I need a buffer and I need to know how big it actually is. I need the actual numbers, not something vague. Same with retirement. We've got a pension system here in Finland and still I'm not outsourcing my whole old age to it. I want to be in charge of my life and also know how my investments affect the year I'm financially free and can start living on my annual interest if I want to. And let's face it, I'm an amateur investor. If I was anything else, I would be drinking margaritas at a beach house somewhere staring at the sea, not recording YouTube videos about passing portfolio data. So no, this tool doesn't make me a pro. It makes me an amateur who knows her numbers. And the positive outcome was that I now know that I'm closer to my financial freedom than I expected. And one more small thing, I also made a little product video for this. I first tried a Gen AI video tool, but ended up having Claude Code build the whole thing in code instead. So you see the real screenshots from the app animated with ffmpeg. And here it is. Quick disclaimer, so we are clear, none of this is financial advice. I showed you a tool and my thinking, not what you should buy. And everything you saw was demo data. My real numbers are for my eyes only. Subscribe if you want to see what a one-person studio ships with an AI team. See you in the next build.